Because with these homes of money, again, what I said in the beginning, you can now create a strategy that works for you, that works for your family, that works for where you are in life, your job, and that's how you grow money. Take advantage of your money. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Go Bout Your Business podcast, where we discuss all things personal growth, from finances, small businesses, to you. Y'all, today we're on the topic of moolah, baby. Let me stop. Y'all, we're on the topic of money. A lot of you guys know that I am a licensed insurance broker. So in a couple of months that I've been learning, growing, doing all things and above, I have been to different conferences, summits, and everything. Just really learning, getting my experiences, and that's the whole purpose, because I'm coming to bring back my knowledge to you. Y'all, I've been doing this for a little while now, and a lot of times, different people don't like to talk about the topic of money, especially if they're not a millionaire or billionaire, because they feel as if people won't listen to them, take their advice, or even find them as a valuable resource in the conversation of money. How you talk about money if you ain't a billionaire or a millionaire or whatever that is, air. But that's a bad way to view money, because the conversation that needs to be sparked is amongst people who don't have it. So you can learn better habits to actually care for your money, how to grow your money, and different strategies. Money is all about strategies. There isn't a one-size-fits-all for money. But to understand how money grows and how money can live in the economy and work for you is the best way, or the best conversation to even have about money. Money isn't even about, let me say it like this, it's not even about being the richest person. It's about securing yourself and your family and understanding different strategies that can do that. So the main strategy that I've basically learned, y'all, in these months ahead, or the months that I have been learning, studying, going through summits, talking to millionaires, billionaires, is the homes of money. Before we talk about different ways to do fancy stuff, ETFs and qualified accounts and all these other things, the main thing is to know, where is my money sitting? Where can I put my money? What are the homes of money? Recently, I literally just went to the Money Move Summit in Baltimore. Y'all, look at some of the clips of different industry professionals telling me their take on money and their take from the summit overall, of what they want to get out of the summit in general and what they know about money in their particular industry. Hey y'all, we're here at the Money Move Summit, going about our business. We're here with one of the owners of Equity Now, the nonprofit organization, Justin, and we're asking him a few questions about how money works in society. Can I ask you, what do you think are the 5 homes of money?
Ooh, the 5 homes of money. So I would say real estate. I would say insurance. I would say also investments such as stocks, bonds, certificates of deposits, savings accounts. Land is another one, but also businesses as well.
Okay, you actually hit 4 in the 5.
Oh, well, hey, listen, right on the spot, you know. I ain't even had my coffee yet. I'm so excited.
Y'all, now we're talking about the 5 homes of money. And the first one we'll be talking about is banks.
In the market. Okay, Harvard Bank, obviously.
Okay, one.
know, so
Harbor Bank, y'all heard that.
Mm-hmm. So you got CDs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You got savings accounts.
Okay.
You got checking accounts.
Okay.
Brokerage accounts.
Okay. Y'all know that is a classic home of money. Everybody, or usually everybody, have a bank account. But a lot of people don't know the pros and cons of banks. Banks is like one of those things where you know, all right, it's a piggy bank. I can put my money in here. I can get my direct deposit from whatever job I work. I can Zelle, transfer money to people, whatever it may be. And The pros of banks is what? Liquidity. I can go to an ATM and no matter what, and just withdraw 100, 200, 300, 400, however many dollars I want because my money is liquid. But what is the downside of banks that a lot of people don't know? Or a lot of people overlook? Let me say it like this. Because we're just talking, y'all. We're talking today. What is the downside? A lot of people don't realize that banks have little to no growth. Certain savings accounts have about 0 to 2% growth max. So how long would you have to keep your money in that bank account for it to grow, to double, to actually start working for you? But do you know what banks do with your money when they actually have that money? Do you know what strategies banks use when they actually get the public's money? Look up. I'm going to give y'all some homework so I don't have to say it. So we working together right now. Look up BOLI. BOLI. Once y'all understand what BOLI is, you start to understand what? Strategy. Strategy. Banks use BOLI to protect themselves, to grow their income, and to satisfy their needs for their employees, their packages plans. And you're sitting there with the account putting all of your investments in with little to no growth. But it is a strategy. Why? Because if you need your money, definitely call a bank, definitely hit up the bank, definitely go to the ATM. Because one of those perks is liquidity. Sometimes it's my money and I need it now.
You can take the equity and you can actually reinvest it into stock markets.
The second home is another popular one. Everybody basically knows about this because it's trendy. And y'all can probably guess what this one is. Stocks. Everybody loves them a good stocks, especially if you're trying to talk extra money fancy. I have a couple of stocks in my portfolio, all that. But y'all, today we're going to break down stocks and why it's important to actually have in your portfolio and some of the pros and cons. Guys, I'm not going deeply in depth with all of these. I'm just bringing your attention the homes of money. Because with these homes of money, again, what I said in the beginning, you can now create a strategy that works for you, that works for your family, that works for where you are in life, your job, and that's how you grow money. Take advantage of your money. Not get it, cash the check, and blow it, but actually create a strategy that can actually provide some type of financial growth for you and those around you. It's time to get smart, especially in this era. We're just going to leave it at in this era. Y'all, okay. So stocks. Everybody knows some of the pros of stocks. What are some of the pros? Dividends, the potential for extreme growth, its rise with inflation. And y'all know when you talk about the rise with inflation, right now everything is high. If you had a stock since 2025 or 2020, right now in this 5 years, you have probably experienced a lot of major growth. Why? Because the prices of everything are doubling. And with inflation also aids in the rise of stocks. Stocks is, I would say, a relatively simple concept, but you will have to also do your own research. I'm just bringing these things to your attention to then understand what stock portfolios work for me, what stocks can I use, how can I use certain stocks to actually gain growth, and what dividend advantages that I have within a certain stock. If you don't know what dividends mean, again, look it up. I'm not doing the homework for you guys. I am giving you general vocab words to do your own homework. And that is the beauty about going about your business. So, what are the cons of stock? I feel like a lot of you guys might know it. What comes up can also come. Stocks have no protection because it is put in a public market oftentimes. Again, oftentimes. A lot of stocks are made public to the general public to invest their money in. But stocks also have a growth potential that is very high, but it also has a loss potential that is very high. And oftentimes, a lot of people might not be able to risk certain money that they have. A lot of times, the average American lives paycheck to paycheck, and they don't have the extra funds to gamble their money. Stocks is like a legalized, professionalized way of gambling. Sometimes you can win big, but also oftentimes you can lose big. But there are ways to also protect your money while it's in the market. And we're going to get to those things. If you guys have different stocks that you guys know, that you guys would love to put people on with, that you guys feel that can have potential growth, drop it in the comments below. Today, we're just talking. Topic 3 that we're talking about when we're talking about the homes of money is qualified accounts.
The IRA and the Roth IRA, I don't know, 401k, 403b.
A lot of people don't even really know what qualified accounts are because it's not as popular as you say a bank or a stock. But a qualified account, when I start saying them, you're going to be like, oh, a 401k, a Roth IRA, a 403b, a TSP. If you don't know exactly what those type of accounts are that I'm saying, again, look it up. What are the pros and cons of a qualified account? A lot of times people use qualified accounts for what? Retirement. The whole idea behind qualified accounts was built around retirement. Why it is good to save for retirement while you're working. America has a system that once you're out into the public world, once you get out of college or high school, you have to also build a strategy to retire on. Because we live in a country where no one's going to pay for your retirement. You have to fund your own. And if you work for a certain amount of years, and if you don't gain the capital over those certain amount of years, you're toast. What are you going to do when you get old and you can't work no more? That is the beauty of retirement plans, qualified accounts. Qualified accounts work in different ways. There are some that are taxed before, and there's some that are tax deferred, tax after. And you have to understand what those accounts are to understand what will work for you. A lot of times, me personally, I recommend certain things like a Roth IRA because of the strategy that a lot of people come and tell me. If you would like to actually consult with me on what strategies is best to use, y'all have my information below. Like I said, I'm a broker. So I sit down with people and let them know what is best to be used for their qualified accounts on their money growth. But with that being said, what are the pros and cons of a qualified account? Some of the pros is like a 401k. You might have it, it can grow, but the money that is being used is taken out of a regular everyday paycheck or a regular everyday salary and is put into the stock market for your retirement. A lot of times, certain employers actually have the benefit of actually matching your 401k. So the money that you put in is the money that your employer also puts in with you. And that allows for something to call compounded growth. Because your money is in the market, it has the ability to grow over time. And it's growing off of the money that is currently in the market from whatever the Fortune 500 companies do. That is the best thing about what I say a qualified account is. But the negatives about a qualified account is the same negatives that we just talked about for a stock account. When your money fails or the market crashes or you're going through a recession, qualified accounts don't have a floor. And a lot of times people don't often know what a floor is. A floor means if the stock market or the actual economic market is below zero, where the economy is actually not doing well that year. There's recession, lack of jobs, lack of money movement in society. Your money falls with it. Because why? Your money is being leveraged in the stock market to actually grow the economy. So now if you put something like $100 in your 401k and the stock market is down 50%, you have $50 left. They're not protecting your money. There's no stop at where your money falls. And there is principles called principal protection to protect certain things like that from happening. Because your money has a principle. Your principle is $100. And if it falls below that $100, what now? How many years would it take you to get that $50 back is the question. Guys, that is my take on a qualified account.
Investment properties, Roth. I said that already. Yeah.
That is okay. That is okay.
Are you going to give me the answers?
Yeah. So the 5 homes of money is also banks. Mm-hmm. You're going to have real estate. Mm-hmm. You're going to have life insurance. You're going to have qualified accounts. Mm-hmm. And you're also going to have stocks.
Got it.
Those are going to be the 5 homes.
Okay.
Just nice and simple.
Yes.
Of course. We're going to know for more. I'm going to give you my business card.
Yes.
You can watch this information on my Instagram. Okay?
Okay, great.
Of course.
Can we delete that? That was horrible.
Yeah, we're going to fix you.
Okay.
We're not going to do that to you. I promise you. I promise you.
Give me your card?
Yes, I'll give you my card.
The next one that I'm talking about is a personal favorite of mine. Regardless of the fact that I'm a broker, this one has a special place in my heart of homes of money. And I think y'all know what it is because it's a pretty popular one. Real estate. Everybody loves a good real estate. So y'all, I'm going to tell y'all the Google definition of real estate right here. Real estate is a property consisting of land or building. So it could be the lights or the sewage in that piece of land or plot of land or that house that you own. That's your real estate. That is your real estate. And the pros and cons of real estate get very intricate. That's why you start to real estate agents, because there's different strategies and tax advantages that you can have from owning a home. There's tax advantages to all homes of money. Like I said, do your research. But real estate provides an umbrella and a safety net for a lot of people to use what they want to use and grow how they want to grow in the economy. So let me just talk about first the advantages of simply like buying a house. When you buy a house, it might be a big financial investment for you. But the best part about houses is that it is proven to grow over time. And when you're talking about financial strategy, you're looking for over time growth. Like I said, there is no such thing as a get-rich-quick scheme in America. Everything that you do has strategy. And in a strategy, there's a pro to con and con to everything. But lay out your game plan and understand where you can take certain hits, where you can know, okay, I got to hold back or I got to save, or where you know, okay, I can invest or I can take a financial risk. Real estate is definitely an investment, but it's one of the best ones that you can make. Because like I said, if you buy a house, it is proven to grow over time. You have property taxes, but you can also file tax advantages on the fact that you own a home in a certain area. The con to own a certain real estate is the fact that because it's such a big investment, if you're willing to sell or willing to liquidize that money, it's going to be a process. Because first you have to put the house on the market. Then a lot of times, a lot of people have to find a realtor who wants to sell that house. Then you also have to give a cut to that realtor who sold your house or marketed your house for you. There's many steps to actually owning a home or owning a building or owning a plot of land, because there's property taxes on everything we own. You already know America loves to bust us upside the head with all these taxes, but there's tax advantages to also everything that you do. The liquidity of real estate is also a con that a lot of people might find, because back to what I was saying, it's my money and I need it now. But the amount of growth that you can have can be up to about 500%. It can double, triple, quadruple. A lot of people sometimes bought a house, especially in the 90s, at like 100K. Next thing you know, that house is worth $1 million. You probably bought it in DC, but that works. It works. There's different strategies that a lot of people have. But another disadvantage is that property tax and the tax on growth. A lot of times, if you did buy a house at $100,000 and it got to $1 million, you have to pay growth tax on all the money you got from there. And that is okay. It might be about 50% to Uncle Sam. And that is okay. Because at least you have what now? More money than what you started with. And a lot of times people think, okay, I don't want 30 years or 40 years to make $1 million. But sometimes it's not about your personal finance or how you can put money in your particular pockets. A lot of times, think group. How can my kids benefit from this? How can my family benefit from this? How can now I can put money in the trust to now build generational wealth? What assets can I pass down? What assets do my family name now have? Because everything is a strategy. And if you surround with love, peace, and understanding, everybody can strategize together.
Insurance, under the mattress, the bank, in a jar, and again, investments.
You know, y'all, we're always just talking. And a lot of times people be like, okay, it could be a ramble. But this one is my area of expertise. Life insurance as a home of money. A lot of times people don't even know life insurance can be a home of money. What do you mean a home of money? What do you mean life insurance? But there is so many different types of life insurance packages and strategies that you can use to create generational wealth and money, compound interest for yourself that you can use before you die. Guys, listen to me. Life insurance is not even about only when you die. It can be used as strategies to help your business, for certain tax write-offs, for family growth, and death. And death. And the one thing that I like to talk about when we talk about pros and cons of life insurance is there's certain strategies that help you, called an annuity, that has nothing to do with your death. It has everything to do with your retirement. A lot of times, especially now in our current economy, the markets are low. As a life insurance agent, I advise people with old 401ks, not active, old 401ks, old TSPs, old qualified accounts, to sit down with a broker and see how you can move that money before it gets lost to the stocks. How will I do that? What are you talking about? What do you mean? I know those questions are coming. But there's strategies, like I said, called a fixed index annuity. Look it up, an FIA, where you can take a lump sum for your 401k and put it in an annuity. By contract, an annuity is guaranteed to never lose your principal, no matter what happens in the stock market, in the public market. If you put 10,000 in there, you're guaranteed from 20 years from now to have your 10,000 in there. But what I love about this strategy, it has nothing but potential for growth. It can flip again and again and again. Let's say if you gained, let's say 200, 300, That first year you have your money into the annuity. Now you're in the market for the next year after that, not with just 10,000, but 10,300. And now they're going to use that 10,300 to compound again, and again, and again. And the best part about an annuity is, again, by contract. Even if you retire and don't have enough money to suffice your whole retirement, by law, they have to pay you until you die. They have to pay you a lump sum of money until you die, even if the company is using their own. And that is the best strategy. A lot of people don't know about finding a retirement plan. You guys, while you're young, while you're fit, while you're healthy, go big or go home. You got one life to live. Actually use the resources. Go big or go home. But then tuck a 10K in the back and put it in an annuity. So at least you know if all else fails, at least when I get old, I got that money I can use. That's my retirement plan. I put 10K in an annuity 20 years ago. So I did all business plans. I worked, I reached the sky. And guess what? All those things cost me money and now I went broke. But I have that FIA. I took my old failing 401k, my old TSP, my old Roth, and I moved it into a FIA. And now, at least, I got 99 problems. Retirement ain't one. But now there's something else. And I know a lot of people talk about this topic. This is a hot topic. Life insurance itself. There's terms, there's whole lives, there's IULs. And a lot of times people get this terminology, like I said, all these fancy words, but they don't know exactly what it means, how it's actually of use to them. And a lot of times we have had a stigma that life insurance is a scam. And for certain communities, I do not blame y'all. I don't blame us. A lot of people that don't look like us, talk like us, sound like us, they used us. They legit used us because it's a commission-based position. So a lot of times they would structure our policies in a fact that it's not advantageous to us, and they walk off with a huge commission. And now when we want to use that said policy that they promised us had growth or promised us that we can use to our advantage, now they gave you a policy that you can't use anymore. Oh, that policy was for 10 years. Oh, that policy was for 20 years. Oh, that policy was for 30 years. So you paid for an insurance of your life that you cannot benefit from. And a lot of times that's disheartening for families that just didn't have the resources at that time, but put aside that money thinking that they were going to use it for a rainy day or they were going to use it for something advantageous. But I'm here to break the stigma on what it is to talk about life insurance. Life insurance has a policy called an IUL. A lot of times people find it fancy, people find it anything, but it's a way to also have a strategy that can help you. As a person of my age, I always recommend people in their 20s. I'm in my 20s, let's say it like that. In their 20s to get at least one active policy. Not for $100, not for $1 million, just for like 25, 50. Start building up a policy on your own life, but put that money in the market. An IUL is an index universal life that also has a cash value to it that is leveraged against the market, the top S&P 500. And a lot of times people are like, okay, what is the S&P 500? Look it up. A lot of the vocabulary that I'm using in this podcast episode, you can look up. You can look up S&P 500. Your money is leveraged against the S&P 500 and is guaranteed, again, to never lose money. Your principal protection, no matter what, cannot fall below, no matter what the economy is doing. If the economy is negative 28%, negative 30%, negative 5%, you know, if I put $1,000 in there, my $1,000 is still going to be there. And that is the advantage of having a strategy like that. Because now you know whatever growth that the economy does that year, you get a percentage of that growth. And guess what? Now that that money is with you and you're using that strategy, it has the ability to compound interest again and again and again and again. So now if you kept it in for 10 years, what does your money look like now? Now, if you kept it in for 15 years, what does your money look like now? Now, if you weren't sure what you wanted to do in your early 20s and you're 35 and you're like, I got a policy at 20 years old. I know what I want to do with my money now. I know what I want to do with my life now. I just need capital. You got a life insurance policy? You got cash value in that policy? Take it. YOLO, take it. Use that money and actually invest capital in your own dreams. Guys, there is strategies to break yourself out of the matrix, out of the scheme, out of the game set up for you to lose, whatever people call it. But you have to be open-minded and willing to actually learn, where can I put my money? And from these 5 homes of money, you can then, all right, what is my growth plan? But there's also a con to everything you do. The con is, to a life insurance policy or to an annuity, is that you don't get all of the growth that the market has that year. So if the market did 60%, you could be stuck at 12. But is that not better than 0? Because a lot of you guys that are hesitating have 0 growth, not even the 12. So open your mind to different strategies that can allow you. And as I say to the Black community, to the people that look like me, read Think and Grow Rich, but Think and Grow Rich, a Black choice. Think and Grow Rich, a Black choice. They tell us about the history of life insurance agents, people that have compounded their money using the same strategies and the same conversations that I'm talking to you about now. Like I said, I just touched on the conversation. I didn't go in depth to the 5 homes of money. I just brought up the conversation. Guys, thank you for watching the episode of Go Bout Your Business podcast. And it's time to flip your bread. If you guys are interested in any of the topics I just talked about and you're looking to know more, like, I like that you touched on these points. What are you talking about? How can I learn this? How can I teach people this? How can I help families? Because we're helping families, right? How can I grow in the space just like you and just learn a little bit about money and finance? Like I said, I'm a licensed broker and I am licensing people by the day. If you would like information on how to get licensed or how to get started in my industry, hit me up. All my information will be below and it will direct you on steps of how to talk to me directly on becoming a licensed broker yourself. Y'all, let's grow, let's make money, and let's put people on it.